Ever hear the one about the bartender who got a tip before even pouring a drink? Well, he was just that charismatic. Welcome to the world of bartending, where charm and wit are just as important as mixing a perfect cocktail. Bartenders, those enigmatic figures behind the bar, are often the life and soul of any party. They're the ones who keep the drinks flowing, the conversations sparking, and the laughter rolling. And let's not forget, they're the therapists, comedians, and confidants all rolled into one. A bartender with a dash of humor and a splash of charm is a recipe for a great night out. Being a successful bartender is not merely about mixing drinks. It's a delicate art of balancing a friendly chat with a lonely patron, a lighthearted joke with a group of friends, and a quick wit to handle the occasional difficult customer. The most successful bartenders are those who can make their customers feel like they're at a party hosted by their best friend. The charm of a bartender is a blend of charisma, humor, and empathy. They have the ability to make you feel seen, heard, and valued, all while pouring your favorite drink. Their wit and humor can turn a bad day into a good one, and their stories will keep you entertained for hours. But don't let the charm and wit fool you. Bartending is a profession that requires resilience, adaptability, and a good sense of humor. It's not just about pulling pints and shaking cocktails, it's about creating an experience, one drink at a time. So, what's the most surprising fact about bartenders that few people know? Well, underneath all that charm and humor, bartenders are often the hardest working people in the room. They're the ones who remember your favorite drink, your stories, and even the name of your dog. They're the unsung heroes of the night, working tirelessly to ensure everyone has a good time. So if you think you're the life of the party, maybe bartending is the career for you. After all, who wouldn't want to get paid to be the life and soul of the party, right? But remember, with great power comes great responsibility. And in this case, the power to make or break someone's evening. Imagine being the one who listens to everyone's stories, but also the target of their worst pickup lines. Welcome to the daily hilarity of a bartender's life, where every day brings a new adventure, a cocktail of laughs, and a splash of the unexpected. Picture this, a man walks into a bar. No, this isn't the start of a joke, but a regular Tuesday evening. He orders a martini, shaken not stirred, in his best James Bond impersonation. He's the fifth one to do that tonight. The charm of being a bartender, right? Now imagine a group of college buddies trying to impress each other with their knowledge of fancy cocktails. One of them orders a flaming Lamborghini. As you prepare the drink, you can't help but chuckle at their wide-eyed anticipation. You serve it with a warning about the flames, and the next thing you know, one of them is doing a stop, drop, and roll dance in the middle of the bar. Then there's the quiet, regular patron, who tips generously but only ever orders a glass of water. You wonder if he's secretly a millionaire or just enjoys the bar ambiance. The beauty of bartending lies in its unpredictability. One moment you're a mixologist, creating colorful, exotic cocktails, and the next, you're a therapist, listening to a heartbroken customer's woes. You're a comedian, a confidant, a storyteller, and a peacekeeper, all while juggling bottles and shakers. And let's not forget the impromptu singing competitions, the dance-offs, and the occasional food fight. Yes, a food fight in a bar. Who would have thought, right? So, if you enjoy a good laugh and can handle the occasional chaos, bartending might just be your calling. There's never a dull moment, and you'll have stories for days. Remember, as a bartender, you're not just serving drinks, you're serving experiences, one glass at a time. Ever wondered if bartenders make a fortune out of those generous tips? Well, you might be surprised. Let's take a trip across the United States and see what's in a bartender's wallet. In general, the average bartender in the US earns around $56,000 a year. Not too shabby for a job that involves chatting with patrons and perfecting the art of the cocktail, right? But of course, this isn't a one-size-fits-all figure. In the bustling city of New York, where the nightlife never sleeps, our friendly neighborhood bartender can earn up to $59,000 a year. Factors such as demand, cost of living, and the generous spirit of New Yorkers all contribute to this slightly higher figure. Venture over to the West Coast, and you'll find the bartenders in San Francisco's Bay Area doing even better. They're pulling in around $62,000 a year. Now, this isn't just because of the tech boom or the high cost of living. It's also about the culture of the city, which values good food and drink, and isn't afraid to tip well for it. But don't pack your bags just yet. While these figures might sound appealing, it's essential to remember that a bartender's income isn't just about the salary. Tips play a huge role, and they can be as fickle as a summer storm. One night you might be raking in the dough, and the next, you're left counting pennies. Moreover, the amount you earn can also be influenced by your experience, the type of establishment you work in, and even the time of year. Holiday season or a big sports event? Cha-ching! A quiet Tuesday in January? Well, let's just say you might have time to perfect that new cocktail recipe. So, while bartending can be rewarding, it's not all about the money. It's about the love of the craft, the thrill of a busy night, and the satisfaction of serving up a drink that makes someone's day. Because at the end of the day, the real wealth of a bartender isn't in their wallet. It's in the stories they tell and the smiles they share. Think you can just walk behind a bar and start pouring drinks? Think again. Bartending is more than just slapping a lime on a glass and calling it a margarita. It requires a blend of knowledge, skill, and a dash of charisma. Let's start with the basics. Education. While there's no formal degree required to become a bartender, certain courses can certainly help. Many bartenders start their journey with a bartending school or hospitality management courses. These programs offer a deep dive into the world of spirits, cocktails, and the art of customer service. And then there's experience. Most bartenders cut their teeth by starting as barbacks or servers, learning the ropes from seasoned professionals. It's a path that helps them understand the rhythm of a busy bar, the importance of cleanliness, and the art of managing a rowdy crowd on a Saturday night. But that's not all. There are certifications to consider. In many states, you need to be certified to serve alcohol. This usually involves a short course that covers responsible serving, understanding alcohol laws, and even a bit about handling those tricky situations when a patron has had one too many. And let's not forget about licensing. Some states require bartenders to have a license. It's a step that usually involves a background check and a small fee. So if you've been dreaming of mixing up cocktails and serving up smiles, be prepared to do a little paperwork first. Career advancement? Absolutely. Bartending can open doors to numerous opportunities within the hospitality industry. You might find yourself managing a bar, owning your own establishment, or even creating signature cocktails for upscale restaurants. The sky's the limit. Historically, bartending has been influenced by cultural shifts and events. The Prohibition era, for example, gave rise to speakeasies and the art of crafting cocktails with limited resources. Today, bartenders continue to shape our social experiences, making our nights out more enjoyable and memorable. So, if you're ready to hit the books and the bottles, bartending could be your next adventure. Bartending today isn't what it was a century ago. Thank the cocktail gods for that. Back in the day, bartenders were essentially the local chemists, mixing up medicinal tonics and elixirs with a dash of alcohol to make the medicine go down easier. But as society evolved, so did the profession. Prohibition in the 1920s, for instance, drove bartending underground, giving birth to the speakeasy culture and creating a whole new era of cocktail innovation. Fast forward to the 50s and 60s, and we see the rise of tiki bars and exotic drinks, reflecting the cultural fascination with tropical island life. Then came the 80s and 90s, a time when neon-colored drinks and over-the-top garnishes were all the rage. But don't think bartending is all about following trends. It's also about setting them. Today, bartenders are like culinary artists, using a blend of classic techniques and modern mixology to create unique and inventive drinks. They're not just serving up beers and pouring wines, they're crafting experiences and telling stories through their creations. And it's not just about the drinks. Bartenders have become crucial figures in our social fabric. They play the roles of confidants, therapists, matchmakers, and sometimes even peacekeepers. They're the ones who make sure everyone's having a good time while ensuring things don't get out of hand. In fact, some of the most pivotal social movements have found their beginnings in bars and pubs. The Stonewall riots, which sparked the fight for LGBTQ+ rights, began in a bar. And let's not forget the role of coffee houses and pubs in the American and French revolutions. So yes, bartending has come a long way from mixing medicinal tonics. It's a profession that's deeply entwined with our social, cultural, and even political histories. And here's the best part, the evolution isn't over. With the rise of craft beers, artisanal spirits, and a renewed focus on sustainability, the future of bartending is as exciting as its past. So if you have a passion for history and culture, and a love for drinks, bartending might just be the perfect fit for you. Ever thought of a bartender as a therapist? Well, they might just be the best ones you never paid for. Now let's dive into how bartenders make a significant difference in society. A bartender's role extends far beyond mixing cocktails and pouring beers. These unsung heroes of the hospitality industry are often the ones who lend an ear to patrons who need to vent. After a long day, a bartender's friendly conversation can be the perfect antidote to stress. They are the ones who create a welcoming environment, turning a simple bar into a comforting refuge. They're also the magicians who transform ordinary nights into memorable ones. From first dates to 50th anniversaries, they're there, serving up liquid courage or a celebratory toast. They're the facilitators of connection, helping strangers become friends over a shared love for a particular cocktail. Bartenders are the custodians of our stories, our celebrations, and sometimes our heartbreaks. They're the ones who, without any formal training, manage to offer a comforting word or a well-timed joke, providing a sense of solace and companionship to those who need it. But it's not all about the emotional aspect. Bartenders also make a tangible difference. They're the ones ensuring that everyone has a good time while staying safe. They have the tough job of cutting off service when someone has had a bit too much to drink, and they do it with tact and finesse, ensuring everyone gets home safely. And let's not forget their contribution to our economy. The bar industry is a significant part of the hospitality sector, providing employment to millions and contributing substantially to the economy. In essence, bartenders are the heartbeat of any bar. They're the ones who keep the energy high and the drinks flowing. They're the ones who make sure everyone leaves with a smile, promising to come back again. So, if you're a people person with a knack for making others feel better, you might just be a bartender at heart. What's the biggest hazard for a bartender? No, it's not the occasional flying beer bottle. Now, as we delve into the world of bartending hazards, you might be picturing a scene from an old Western movie with chairs flying and glasses shattering. But in reality, the dangers of bartending are a little more subtle, yet equally challenging. First up is the ever-present risk of mixologist's wrist, an occupational hazard that results from shaking too many cocktails. It's like tennis elbow, but with a twist of lime. And let's not forget the peril of barmaid's knee, the strain from hours of standing, running around, and hopping up and down to reach the top shelf liquors. Then there's the hazard of the customer is always right syndrome. A bartender must master the art of nodding and smiling, even when faced with the most absurd drink orders. Ever tried to make a gluten-free, sugar-free, alcohol-free vegan cocktail? Yeah, it's as puzzling as it sounds. And let's not ignore the potential danger of overpouritis. This is the condition where a bartender's generous spirit leads to a little too much spirit in the glass, which not only eats into the bar's profits, but can also lead to some, let's say, overly enthusiastic patrons. But perhaps the most surprising hazard is the emotional toll. Bartenders often double as unofficial therapists, listening to a myriad of stories from heartbreaks to hilarious anecdotes and everything in between. It's a skill to keep your own spirits up when you're constantly pouring for others. However, despite these hazards, bartenders are a resilient bunch. They adapt, learn, and continue to pour, shake, and stir with a smile. It's a profession that requires dexterity, patience, and a good sense of humor. And remember, a good bartender doesn't just mix drinks, they mix people. They create an atmosphere, a community, and sometimes a much-needed refuge. So if you can dodge a cocktail shaker and keep your cool, you're already halfway to being a bartender. So there you have it, the hilarious day in the life of a bartender. Who knew serving drinks could be such an adventure? From the charm and wit required to handle the most eccentric of patrons to the daily hilarity that comes with the territory. We laughed at the surprising earning potential across the United States, from $56,000 on average to a whopping $62,000 in the San Francisco Bay Area, depending on your charm, of course. We dove into the educational requirements, the journey to becoming a bartender, and the potential for growth within the profession. We explored how historical events and cultural influences have shaped the bartender's role and their impact on society. And let's not forget the hazards, like dodging those flying cocktail shakers. If you found this content useful, please support us by giving us a like and subscribing to the channel. Do you agree with our take on a day in the life of a bartender? Let us know in the comments below.